In this video I am talking about the Fuji X-T4. I really wanted to test the Fuji X-T4 as there has been a lot of talk about it since it came out. I have used pretty much all other brands of cameras before in the past, and apart from a little XA2 I think it was called, I had for a while, I never had any experience with Fuji cameras, not until now. I must say massive thank you to UK Digital for fixing me with this Fuji X-T4 for this review, and I must also say that I am not being paid by UK Digital or anyone else to say anything specific about this camera, so this is my honest opinion about it. Fujifilm X-T4 is a 26 million pixels flagship APS-C camera from Fuji. It has got this retro design with the ISO and shutter speed dials on top, the screen that can be closed to make it look and feel like a film camera, but it packs a ton of modern features at the same time as well. It is built like a tank and not only looks retro, but it feels like it too. It feels comfortable in hands with enough of the body on either side of the lens to give you that good two-hand grip when shooting with it. The buttons are laid out really well and are all easily accessible and easy to find. It comes with these leather protectors to protect the body of the camera from the strap holders from scratching it. It's a very nice touch, or a sign that the body is not as tough as it should be. There is a microphone input but no headphone socket, but you can plug headphones and monitor audio via USB-C and included USB-C to mini jack adapter. One thing that I don't like is the rubber viewfinder surround thing. It is very hard, and after shooting with it for 30 minutes or so, I'm aware how much I can feel it on my eyebrow every time I put it to my face to take a photo. Fuji cameras, including this one, have their own functions ecosystem. It is completely different to any other camera that I have ever used. If you are new to photography and this is your first camera, this would not be a problem at all. But if you are coming to Fuji from literally any other brand, it might be a little bit confusing and will take a while to get used to. It's like changing cars after driving one car for years, and then you get into a new one which does the same job. It's a car, but it has got no steering wheel. You have to steer it with buttons. This camera feels just like that to me. The main settings, ISO, aperture and the shutter speed, are all manual and easily accessible from the dials and the lens. But it has got these quirky ways to adjust the settings and to get to certain functions like aperture priority and shutter priority modes. These usually are on top of all cameras, but here you need to know the procedure to activate them. The camera is capable of shooting 15 frames per second burst using the mechanical shutter. It has got 5-axis in-body stabilization, dual card slots, very decent autofocusing and real-time eye tracking, and very sensible and easy to navigate menus. There are 12 built-in film modes. These emulate Fuji's legendary film looks like Provia, Velvia, Astia and more. There is tone curve adjustments and a lot of additional settings for color and overall look of the images. Problem with these is that they only work when shooting in JPEG. I guess it's okay if you are not editing your photos at all and you want to capture the images which you can post straight from the camera to your Instagram account. I like to have more control over my photos and more dynamic range to play with in edit, and that's why I always shoot in RAW and edit the photos in Adobe Lightroom. There are literally thousands of Lightroom presets emulating film looks available for free and to buy, and if you are using VSCO presets, you'll get all those accurate Fuji looks as well, and you got full control over the the look of the images. It is very gimmicky, but it seems to be one of the main selling points of Fuji cameras. Fuji really made this camera an attractive package for any filmmaker. 420 10-bit 4K 60p internal recording, 422 10-bit external over HDMI, F-Log, flat profile, face and eye tracking, autofocus and gray stabilization for smoother handheld filming. The eye and face tracking works really well if the person is facing the camera while being filmed all the time. Looking away or in difficult lighting conditions, the camera instantly focuses on the background and loses the face focus. Not a huge issue, but not as rock solid as some other cameras. Sony. There is 120 and 240 frames per second slow motion, but it has to be recorded in 24, 25, 30 or 60 frames per second, so you get already slowed down files. I can see the film emulations, those Fuji film emulations presets, be more usable more useful when using or doing video, when you want a specific look straight out of the camera to save you time on color grading later, especially great for quick B-roll filming or social media videos. There is IBIS in body image stabilization without the crop, and an optional digital stabilization and boost which come with slight crop but work pretty well. Maybe not gimbal-like, but certainly makes this camera perfectly usable when filming handheld, which can hugely speed up the filming process when you don't have to use tripods or set up gimbal to get just that one shake-free shot. The whole concept of the design and usability of this camera makes it perfect old-school photographer's tool. It has been designed to feel like your old 35mm film camera. You can set the ISO and lock it, control the shutter speed from the dial on top and the aperture from the lens, like you would on a camera 30 years ago. It's great that you can close the screen on the back of the camera to stop you from automatically looking at every photo after taking it. It closes flush with the body and it has got that camera body texture on the back of it, making it look and feel like it's just not there. I certainly like all those things about XT-4, and this led me to go one step further and adapt some vintage lenses to it. This not only magnifies that old school vibe because you do have to focus manually and control the camera manually, but it also enhances that film look at the fraction of the cost of most of modern lenses out there. This camera is not cheap. The kit with this 18 to 55mm f2.8 to f4 lens retails here in UK for £1,899 and for £1,549 for body only. This really puts it into competition with the Olympus, OMD EM5 Mark III, Panasonic GH5, full frame Nikon Z6 and the new Z5 and even Sony A7 III. I had a lot of issues with this 18 to 55 kit lens that came with it, as I couldn't get any consistent quality results or sharpness. This could be just an isolated issue with this copy of the lens, but the camera was transformed to a different kind of beast when I started shooting with the Fuji, the Fuji 50mm f2 lens on it, and of course vintage lenses. I think it is actually a better value to buy the body on its own and invest in a better lens if you do need autofocusing. There is 35 Fuji lenses available for this camera. Otherwise, use vintage lenses for more of that 35mm film look this camera was designed for. This camera is perfect for an enthusiast or a photographer who wants that retro feel to the camera when shooting the photos. It certainly delivers great quality images and videos straight out of the box. It's not a point and shoot camera, and if you do not have any experience or photography knowledge, there will be a more significant learning curve to go through to get the best out of it. That also applies if you never used Fuji camera before but used other brands and expect exactly the same controls. It just takes a little bit longer to get used to than any other camera in my experience. Would I buy it? I am not sure. I don't think this camera is for me personally, although I love the result it delivers and I love the way it looks, but you can get a full frame camera for the same money. Just Just saying. And this is it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you like this kind of content, cameras, lenses, photography, video reviews, tutorials, please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. There are literally thousands of Lightroom presets. It feels like I've been talking for a week. Again, it feels like that every single week. Do you think I should go live next week and talk about Sony a7S III? The mysterious Sony a7 III. Wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.